Ryan, opening this week, more movies. Aren't we excited by that? Um, let's talk about two really quickly because there's a lot going on in the world of the Visually Stunning Movie Podcast, including you are seeing a movie that's not coming out for a couple weeks that I do not get to see tonight, but I'm not even going to mention the name because I'm too excited about it. So let's talk about the two films that are opening this week. We have one that's not for kids and one that's for kids. So let's start with the kid movie, Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Yes.
I feel like it was just 2 years ago that we got Sonic 1. And little did we know that 2 years later we would be in almost the exact same situation, except now the theaters are opening instead of closing, which is nice. Ben Schwartz, James Marsden, Jim Carrey. This is a really it's Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I was surprised by how much I liked the first one, having not been a game aficionado. But I found the first one enjoyable, so I was, optimistic coming into the second one. I don't know how you felt about the first. I don't recall how you felt about the first one.
I was okay with it.
You were okay with it? Did you game?
Well, I mean, did I
play?
get? Well, I didn't do a lot of Sonic. I mean, I did have a Sega and whatnot, but
Right.
Sonic wasn't really my thing. So yeah, I mean, obviously over the years you inevitably have played a Sonic game. But as far as like the narrative and the story and
Right.
everything, I'm pretty clueless on what that is.
Right. And I am too. That was never my jam as a gamer. But no, I was surprised at how entertaining it was, how enjoyable it was.
Sure.
I enjoyed Jim Carrey.
See, and I struggle with Jim Carrey when he's in Plastic Man mode.
Well, in the first movie, he wasn't in that much. He was clearly insane, but it was a lot more reservedly cartoonish as opposed to The Mask. Until the end of the movie, the first movie, and then he goes off the deep end a little bit. 2 comes out. He's back, and he comes back with a helper. There was a teaser. It's been 2 years. So the stinger at the end of the first Sonic was the appearance of Tails, the fox with 2 tails that can fly.
Yes.
And so we have Tails, and it's no spoiler if you've seen the poster or a preview for Sonic 2. Knuckles, the red echidna, not hedgehog. He's an echidna, as we learned, because that's the name of his clan. So Dr. Robotnik brings back Knuckles, and they're searching for the Master Emerald. I don't know if that's game lore or not. I'm sure it has something to do with the game.
It feels like a game lore.
It feels like game lore, and it's effectively the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yes.
And I only being half, facetious about that. It's a collection of other powerful gems in one big thing. So, so the fight, of course, is between Sonic and Knuckles, with Tails trying to help, and James Marsden just, tagging along.
Going to a wedding.
Going to a wedding in Hawaii, which goes terribly wrong.
Of course.
With Shamar Moore as his soon-to-be brother-in-law. Yeah. It's very strange. Idris Elba is the voice of Knuckles. Everyone was very excited by that. So I couldn't help but just picture Idris Elba running around beating up a hedgehog the entire time, or trying to beat up a hedgehog the entire time. I think it's as enjoyable as the first one. For the same reasons. It's a video game movie that doesn't take itself too seriously because it's not a serious game. This isn't, one of the horror games. This isn't Silent Hill or Resident Evil that, kind of would translate into a heavier movie. This is Sonic the Hedgehog. And I think they've tried to keep that level of seriousness and energy consistent. And I think for the most part, they pulled it off.
Yeah, I mean, my general reaction to the first one was, is I think those who want to see this film who are will enjoy it, and I feel that the same way about this one. If you're inclined to like animated PG rated films based on video games, this is probably one of the better ones.
Oh yeah.
I think I mean the tone is the same as the first one. If you like the first film, I don't I might I thought about this a lot. To me it's either equal to or maybe a little less than that first film. The first film, and granted it's been a couple of years since I saw it, felt like it had a little bigger scope to it, but this was a little more intimate. But I don't see why, if you like the first one, why you wouldn't like the second one, and I don't know why you'd be watching the second one unless you saw the first one. So
Right. Yeah. So yeah, that's the kids movie this week. So yeah, if your kids like the first one, or if you, the adult, liked the first one, you should enjoy the second one. It's perfectly fine.
well, yeah, and what right before we move on, you said something that was interesting at the theater, about how quiet the screening had been.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. But
and
our screening was full of kids.
yeah, and what I think is interesting to note there is when it's quiet, it means they're invested. If they're noisy in the sense that they're not in, usually it means they're either really involved and they're interacting with the movie in their own childish way,
Mhm.
or they're so bored out of their minds that they can't wait to get out of there.
Mhm.
And another way that I judge a children's film is how many kids went to the bathroom. How many was there
Right.
a parade of parents with little kids who just, all right, half hour in, 45 minutes in, oh, they all need to, I mean,
Yeah.
uh, so I think kids responded really well to this film as well. So
They did. Yeah, they were. I did. I said they were wrapped. I mean, it
yeah.
was really, they were 100% on the thing, and they weren't even like excessive cheers at the like presumably
No, but
cheering spots.
they were clearly into it.
Yes,
When a character would appear on screen, they almost like whispered the character's name like it was some religious.
it was like watching grown men watch a Marvel movie.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so so no, it's Sonic the Hedgehog 2 opens Friday, just a couple days from now. So check it out if you are so inclined. The other big release this week is not for kids. It is a Michael Bay film. It is an action shoot 'em up called Ambulance, with Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah, it's about an ambulance cop car chase through Los Angeles with Jake Gyllenhaal being the bad guy.
Yeah, yeah, and oddly enough, the protagonist to a certain extent.
Yeah, actually, yes, I will allow that. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, from Candyman,
Yeah,
um,
Matrix.
Matrix. He's Jake Gyllenhaal's brother,
From another mother.
because they grew up in LA Hood and his family took him in. Isa Gonzalez is the EMT that's in the ambulance with them, trying to keep the cop that they shot alive, so that the rest of the police and FBI and everyone else doesn't just rush the ambulance and kill them, because they're trying to keep the cop alive as well.
Because the life of the EMT is not that important.
No, not. I mean, yes, but not in the grand scheme of things. In this case, no. Which is sad because she was like the best character. But
Absolutely.
that being said, this is a Michael Bay movie. It is. I never realized how his camera work is so distinctive, and it's not his camera work, but it's the way he likes his movies to look. He loves the camera is never still, but in this one it vacillates between these beautiful sweeping shots. When I say beautiful, because it's LA and everything's pretty for the most part, So these are great. So, but then it's a hard cut to this goofy, shaky panic cam, like I'm watching Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And it's very jarring cinematically. I had forgotten that apparently I want to say he hired the drone guys that did the bowling alley video, or if that was a joke, but it felt like it was those guys because this has so many drone shots.
Yeah.
Through warehouses.
And most of and there's quite a few of the drone shots that you're like, I don't even know why that's in this movie.
Except that it's cool. If you look at it, you go, I mean, just from a technical sense.
Sure, but after a while, it's like, oh, another one of these.
These really long, intricate drone shots.
Yeah, it almost loses the magic of it because they kind of just beat it into the ground, and very few of them feel necessary to the story.
Oh, none of them are necessary to the story.
So,
but
there's that.
Yeah,
technically beautifully done, sure, but
but pointless. You know what? Those shots are visually stunning, except that they're everywhere. And there's too much, and they really don't serve a purpose. It's not like a few years back when we watched the remake of The Magnificent Seven, which was just a gorgeous film to watch from beginning to end, but at least all of those shots were theoretically doing something. In this one, no, it's Michael Bay. Things explode for no reason. Cars hit things for no reason. Cars flip for no reason. 8 million bullets fly. I think 3 land throughout the course of this film.
That's fairly accurate, actually.
And if it's not 3, I think it's an 8 million to 3 ratio of bullets to hits. Let me mention real quick the lead cop to begin the movie is played by Garrett Dillahunt, and I never remember his name, but I love watching him work. He is so much fun when he's just kind of playing, and in this one he's just playing this authoritarian kind of dickhead who's a dickhead, but he's very good at what he does on the job. But I never remember his name, and I always have to look it up. And so I just wanted to give him a shout out because I always enjoy watching him. And I think he's great. Him and driving around in his little vintage Fiat with his huge freaking Mastiff in the back seat. I was just incredible. And but that leads me to my next point, is that part of the reason that this movie isn't really that good is because Bay can't decide if it's a comedy or an action film.
He has no idea.
He really does not. Because if it was all action, it could have been really good, and if it was all comedy, it might have been all right.
And I think what's problematic about it is, who are we supposed to be rooting for in this film? It's essentially an extended race. And what I compare it to is when you look at Mad Max Fury Road, you can cheer for Furiosa and Max and the idea that they're taking these women away from this horrible individual who's, it's easy to go, oh, I pick a side and I can enjoy this. Whereas with this film, you're kind of like, I don't think I'm not comfortable with most of what's going on right now.
Yeah.
And so rooting for anyone other than maybe the EMT, Cam, it's problematic. And yet the film wants you to.
Yeah.
It really and it's, and it's just a struggle because it's like these guys, they're not really, the anti-hero, particularly Jake's character.
No.
He's not. You don't even like that guy necessarily, and yet you're supposed to kind of root for him. And I think that's hard. And
no,
I think a lot of the fun out of the show.
I think Bay wants us to root for Will Yahya.
Well, Will, but Will's
not really.
Will's been dragged into this thing to an extent, but he's a grown man. He made a decision.
Yeah, well, that was the other thing. This whole thing was just thrown. That crew and job was just thrown together, and that's kind of how this movie is. It's just kind of
absolutely.
thrown together.
Absolutely.
But no, yeah, you root for Cam, Isaac Gonzalez, the EMT. You root for Zach, the dying cop on the gurney.
Yeah, but he's on the gurney, so
he's unconscious the whole time for the most part.
I mean, it's like he's almost not really a character.
No, he's a prop.
He's
the MacGuffin, if you will. It's just, man, it's just so hard because nothing seems to there doesn't seem to be a purpose to much of it. It's just not good. I mean, if you just want to watch crap blow up for 2 hours, I guess. But then there's the gang involvement later, that whole ambush scenario,
which is when it just kind of goes off the rails.
No, the green spray paint.
Well, yeah, the green spray
kind
paint
of sums up the movie. It's like I told you blue. Well, this is all I had. It's like, again, it's kind of a metaphor for the film.
Yeah. I mean, and I think it is interesting. I haven't seen the original film this is based on, but it's based on the 2005 German film. And that film was only 80 minutes in length, whereas this one is 135. I'm going to guess that the gang element that comes into the end of this was probably not in the original. I can't say for certain, but I'm kind of intrigued to see the story told in 80 minutes and how much of that story is actually, still there. And it takes Bay nearly twice as long to deliver the story. So, I mean, there's some good performances in this. If you like Michael Bay, you'll probably like it. But if you're looking for Michael Bay to kind of like, I guess it's not The Rock, although he talks about The Rock in this movie. But I mean, there's some people who are saying this is the best Michael Bay film in decades or years or whatever. And there's a part of me that says, yeah, you're right. But
is that really saying a lot?
Yeah, but does that automatically make it a good film? Or are we just going by the Michael Bay standard where it's like you've made some really bad movies and so now you've made one that isn't great, so does that make it a really good Michael Bay movie? I don't know.
Yeah, I had jotted down in my notes that Jake Gyllenhaal's character in here he's like if Mysterio had become a bank robber.
Yeah, it's that and the whole Nightcrawler character that he
that
had,
kind of aesthetic.
It's just, but he's almost required to be larger than life.
Well, it's a Michael Bay film. Everyone is required to be larger than life.
So the fact that he's so over the top is like, well, you kind of have to be, So I mean, Jake's performance to me wasn't all that great, but I think it's exactly the performance he was asked to give. And so I don't really fault him, I guess, other than maybe his agent, but
he owed Michael Bay something.
Maybe I don't know.
Something. I don't know. It's great. So neither one of us is going to tell people to rush right out and see Ambulance.
If I mean, honestly, if you've enjoyed Michael Bay's films, particularly the more recent ones, you'll probably like this. There's some people who just love what Michael Bay does, and that's fine. I suppose. I mean, I don't understand exactly, but I mean, to put this in comparison, I think watching it, I thought, okay, what if Michael Bay made The Batman? Well, I think The Batman would have been 5 hours long.
Yeah,
which I mean, just for as much as The Batman could have lost some things here or there, man, this movie, I mean, you could take out sections of this movie and it works just as well as it or if not better than it does.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I 100% agree on that. Next week though, we get another big movie, Fantastic Beasts 3.
Yeah.
The Secrets of Dumbledore.
No. It's The Apology.
The apology. Maybe, I don't know. Could be. I guess if you want to read it that way. But yeah, so we've got that one. We're seeing on Monday. We're seeing another big film that I'm. It's. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not really sure what we're going to get. And that's The Northman, and I'm going to have to check when we can talk about that. I know later tonight you're seeing the movie that I'm really excited to see in like a week and a half. Is that why you're going to LA tomorrow?
No.
Okay. So, well,
LA
while you're in LA, don't get caught in a high/low speed ambulance chase.
Yeah, well, yeah, hopefully not. No, my LA trip is I'm going to go to a concert. So this is completely a concert that was supposed to happen 2 years ago. So welcome to the,
yeah, everyone's playing catch up. Well, that's good. Well, that's good. Well, enjoy it, have fun, and next week we will see The Northman. We will talk about that. We will talk about Fantastic Beasts. I will not ask you any questions about the movie that will not be named until I see it, because I don't want anything to ruin it for me. So that's it. That is it for this week. We covered Sonic the Hedgehog 2. We covered Ambulance. One is a yes, one is a stay with us. And we will, obviously, we've got movies they're backing up. Anytime we'll start hearing grumblings about Doctor Strange 2. Pretty quick. And then we'll start hearing grumblings about Top Gun Maverick. And then we'll start hearing grumblings about this and this and this, and it's just going to keep going, and it's going to be a great year, everyone. So stay tuned, more good stuff to come. If you're not watching Moon Knight on Disney, go check that out. There's 2 episodes out now. You can go listen to our talk about that and tell us if we were right or wrong. Go watch some of those cool Apple TV series that we talked about in the same episode as Moon Knight. You can go listen to that and check those out as well. But until we're back next week with more new stuff for you, stay safe, take it easy. Don't forget to like us, follow us on social media at VS Movie Podcast. You know the drill. Till then, I'm Mark. That is Ryan. Bye, Ryan.
See you guys.
And we will talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.